The Himalayas, once a symbol of serene majesty, are now the backdrop for one of the world's most precarious military standoffs. On this day, September 15, 2025, the tension between India and China along their disputed border remains palpably high. Tens of thousands of soldiers from both nuclear-armed nations are stationed in a state of high alert, staring each other down across a vaguely defined line of actual control. This is not just a remote territorial squabble, it is a geopolitical fault line with the potential to reshape Asian security. The crisis is complex, rooted in history fueled by modern ambitions, turning icy mountain passes into potential flashpoints. Neither side claims to want conflict, yet both seem to be preparing for with grim determination. The current situation is a fragile no war, no peace stalemate. Following a series of violent clashes in recent years, a fragile truce holds punctuated by constant military maneuvering, infrastructure buildups, heated diplomatic rhetoric. The core of the issue lies in the fact that India and China have never formally agreed on their 3,488-kilometer border. This ambiguity has allowed both sides to interpret the boundary to their advantage. The seeds of today's conflict were sown over a century ago, during the era of British colonial rule in India. The British, concerned with Russian expansionism in Central Asia, drew several boundary lines. Two of these lines are crucial to understanding the dispute today. The Johnson Line of 1865 placed the Aksai Chin Plateau within the princely state of Jammu and Kashmir, and thus within British India. Conversely, the Macartney-MacDonald Line of 1899 proposed a boundary that placed most of Aksai Chin under Chinese control. Independent India, after 1947, largely adopted the Johnson Line as its official claim, while China has never recognized it. In the eastern sector, the dispute centers on the McMahon Line. This line was agreed upon in the 1914 Simla Convention between representatives of Britain, China, and Tibet. It established the boundary along the crest of the Himalayas, placing the Tawang region and what is now the state of Arunachal Pradesh within British India. However, the Chinese representative refused to ratify the agreement, arguing that Tibet did not have the authority to sign such a treaty. Consequently, China has never accepted the McMahon Line as the legal international border, referring to Arunachal Pradesh as South Tibet. This fundamental disagreement over colonial-era cartography forms the bedrock of the entire dispute. The relative calm that prevailed for decades was shattered in the summer of 2020. Tensions flared in the Galwan Valley in Ladakh. The immediate trigger was India's construction of a strategic road to an advanced landing ground at Daulat Beg Oldi. China responded by moving thousands of its troops into the valley, leading to a tense standoff. On the night of June 15, 2020, a brutal, high-altitude brawl broke out between soldiers using fists, stones, nail-studded clubs as firearms were prohibited under existing protocols. The clash resulted in the first combat fatalities on the border in 45 years, with India acknowledging 20 of its soldiers killed, and China later admitting to 4 casualties. The Galwan Valley incident marked a dangerous turning point. It broke decades of trust and made old confidence-building measures obsolete. The violence spread along the line of actual control in Ladakh, including Pangong Tso, a glacial lake with northern spurs called Fingers. Both sides mounted a rapid, massive military buildup: tanks, artillery, fighter jets. Satellite images showed new military encampments and infrastructure near Pangong Tso. In August 2020, Indian Special Forces occupied key heights on the south bank of Pangong Tso, gaining a tactical advantage and surprising China. Since then, the border has remained on a knife's edge. Both India and China have compelling strategic reasons. For China, Aksai Chin is paramount. It links Tibet and Xinjiang by land. China has built 600-plus new military and dual-use facilities. India has matched China's deployments. Given the massive military deployments and the breakdown of trust, the risk of war is undeniably real. Most experts believe a full-scale 1962-style war is unlikely, but the risk of a limited, localized conflict escalating unintentionally is higher than in decades, a miscalculation by a local commander, a patrol that strays too far, or a technological accident. Experts propose steps to prevent escalation, complete disengagement of troops from remaining friction points, redefine and clarify the line of actual control. The primary mechanism remains ongoing military and diplomatic talks over 20 rounds of Corps Commander talks since 2020. Yet sharp disagreements persist. India insists border peace is a prerequisite. In conclusion, this is a dangerous, deeply entrenched standoff. De-escalation needs political will and mutual accommodation that is currently absent. The quiet of the Himalayas remains deceptive. Its future hangs in the balance.